Don't you ever just feel like screens are everywhere nowadays? You know, if only there was some biblical wisdom to help us think through screen time and kids and how much. Proverbs. That's a helpful verse. Let's give that a read. Hey parents, Michael here. I've been thinking about screen time and the kids. I just want to give you 3 quick principles on screen time now during lockdown. The first one is this. Parents, acknowledge the emotional weight that comes with screens. And I think this is twofold. There's a generational gap. Kids want to be on the screen the whole time, and parents want the kids to be outside in a tree the whole time. And so there's an emotional weight to kids being on screens. And that's okay. That's okay. Just acknowledge that. They're on the screen again. There's an emotional weight there. Second emotional weight is lockdown said you got to be on a screen. You don't have a choice. Use it now. And it's like, there's an emotional weight there. School said you got to use the screen. I said you got to use the screen to use Wacky Wednesday. I'm part of the problem. Sorry. There's emotional weight there. That suddenly you're being forced to use screens and put them in front of your kids more than normal. So the first thing is acknowledge the emotional weight. Screens. Now second, the biblical principle. There's a proverb which talks about honey and how a little bit of honey is good for the stomach, but how a whole bunch of it makes you feel ill. And the principle there is clear. The right amount of stuff is good for you. Too much of a good thing is bad for you. And so that's the principle we want to apply with the screens. We want to find the right amount so that it's a good thing. And it can be a good thing. It can be sweet like honey. And not too much, because too much honey will make you throw up, and that's not great. And so that's the principle, the second thing. We want to recognize that there is a right amount of screen time. There is. It's okay. And the third thing, which I want to say, is that there's 2 types of screen time. So we've recognized there's emotional weight. We've recognized that honey can be sweet and so can screen time. It can be good in its right amount. And the third thing we want to think through is that there's 2 types of screen time. There's what I call cake and there's what I call veg. Now cake is the Netflix and the Cartoon Network and the YouTube where you're just letting the kids watch mind-numbing stuff for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is. And that's okay, in the right amount. Like cake, a little bit of cake, mwah, wonderful, good for the lips. Too much cake, ugh. So there's the cake screen time. But then there's also, and I think this is the major difference, the vegetables screen time. The veg screen time, which is good for you. Stuff like all the zeal videos, rat sermons. Now we even as adults are looking at the screen to be fed spiritually. That's not cake, that's veg. It's good for us. We actually want to go, yeah, give me some more of that veg. And I think we can apply that to the zeal videos and the children's ministry videos. It's veg. It's still screen time, but it's veg. And so we want to apply that principle of finding the right amount. But first it requires going, actually, not all screen time is cake. A lot of it is cake, but some of it is veg. It's good for us, and we don't have to be afraid of letting the kids have a bunch of it, or even saying, no, you got to eat your veg. You got to watch the zeal video or the Sunday snack. It's good for you. Hopefully the kids enjoy my videos. But anyway, the principle there is the same. And so take these 3 principles with you, and I think it'll help you, give you some wisdom when approaching screen time as a parent. So that first one again, recognize that there's an emotional weight to seeing your kids on a screen. And that's okay. It's okay. And the second one, God has ordained that there's everything in its right place, everything in its time. That proverb, a little bit of honey is sweet for the taste. Too much is bad. So there is a balance there. Let the kids have a bit. Let them have a bit. And that third thing tells us how much. Is it cake or is it veg? Cake, you have a little bit of, just a little bit. Veg, you can have a lot of veg. And by applying those 3 things, hopefully this wisdom will help you to navigate screen time a little better. Now, excuse me, I've got to go watch 2 YouTube videos at once. Cheers.